The Ohio State Glenville pipeline is alive and well in the Ryan Day era. It started with Arvell Reese a couple of years ago during the 2023 recruiting class as a linebacker, and then continued with Bryce West in the 2024 class and Demarion Witten in that same class as a cornerback and a tight end / receiver. We're not really sure completely what position Demarion Witten's playing right now in year 2, but that's kind of the point. He's developing right now. And then in the 2026 recruiting class, you got even more when you got Sincere Johnson as a top 100 recruit at linebacker, who is now on Ohio State's recruiting class. And now his teammate Jamir Perez will join him, the 3-star defensive tackle, who is a number 661 player, number 71 defensive lineman in the country. He is 6'4", 360 pounds. Andrew, this is a big deal. One, because he is a big boy. But more importantly, because of what that big boy might be able to do on the interior of Ohio State's defensive line.
Yeah, this is a really, really interesting recruitment. So Jamir Perez went down to Florida and in the middle of May, late May, and took his official visit. And he loved Florida. And Florida did a great job with that official visit. He really liked Gainesville. He really liked that campus. And I believe he commits like a day or two after he is done with his official visit from Florida. But then he takes an Ohio State official visit, and that Ohio State official visit, at least in my eyes, and I think I was texting this out to our texter 614-350-3315, you start to go, kid from Glenville, not committed to Ohio State. Now he's going to take his Ohio State official visit. Okay, Ohio State's still in the mix here. Mm-hmm. He makes that official visit, and then you started to hear, okay, maybe this is going to happen. And now, obviously, it does happen. Jamir Perez, literally, like you said, a massive defensive line target. So this was a recruitment where I think Sincere Johnson's commitment played heavy on his shoulders in terms of wanting to play with his friend and play with his high school teammate down in Columbus. So, Ohio State stuck on it. Ohio State kept on Jamir Perez. They didn't give up once Florida got him. They got him for that official visit in mid-June. Jamir Perez is now Ohio State Buckeye, or pledged to be an Ohio State Buckeye. This is a big commitment on the field because Ohio State doesn't have a body type like Jamir Perez. So he was out at a camp, and Stephen can attest to this. I loved watching Jamir Perez.
Yeah, he's in love with Jamir Perez as a football player.
Jamir Perez, like going through these drills, he's 360 pounds, and it is a real 360 pounds. He said he would like to drop some weight before that season starts. I would assume that when he gets to college, they would like to probably have him drop a little bit more weight, but his footwork is unbelievable for somebody that weighs 360 pounds, no less. So I think you look at his footwork, you look at his ability. This is a true nose. This is not, maybe we're playing him at edge, maybe we're playing him as a 3-tech. This is somebody that is not of the Tyleik Williams mold, I don't believe. I think this is somebody that is of the Ty Hamilton mold. You are putting him in a shade on the center. You are putting him in a 1-tech, and you are just saying, cause as much havoc as you can. And that is what Jamir Perez is probably going to give you, and I think he's going to be really good at it. Great footwork, great size. I think Ohio State likes what they see in terms of molding him into a player. So, this is a really strong, stout body type that, frankly, they don't have. If you go look at some of their defensive line commitments over these last couple of years, even the guys that have moved on the interior, they don't weigh 340 pounds. Ohio State does not recruit the same as Georgia. Like, if you go look at Georgia's recruiting class on the defensive line, they are bringing in giants to play their defensive line. Ohio State doesn't really do that. Like, Ohio State has Kari Wilder in this class. We talk about him and go, okay, well, maybe he's an edge. Maybe he's a 3-tech. He weighs 260 pounds. We'll see. They brought in Dominic Kirks a few years ago. Okay, maybe he's an edge. Maybe he's a 3-tech. Jason Moore committed as an edge. Okay, maybe he's an edge. Maybe he's a 3-tech. He moves to 3-tech. They bring in these different types of bodies, and you form them into defensive tackles. This is a ready-made defensive tackle, and I think Ohio State fans are going to be really, really happy because now you can start to maybe move things around a little bit. He's the type of player that when you put him in the middle of a defense, he's the guy that can be in a 3-down front, that true nose.
Yeah, that's the key thing. You brought up Ty Hamilton. They had to physically develop him into a nose tackle. Jamir Perez is a nose tackle.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, there's going to be some physical development and
Right.
getting them in shape to play college football versus a guy who right now is 6'4", 360 pounds. But the way he looks right now, he can get away with it in high school. He'll get into the strength and conditioning program, and he'll be more fit about that. And you said they don't recruit like Georgia. Well, they'll play defense like Georgia. It's not the same scheme.
Exactly right.
Georgia runs a lot more three-down defensive fronts. But if we think Ohio State's future is going to see more three-down defensive fronts, then these true noses, these single one-tech defensive tackles are going to be that much more valuable. And it's not every day that one of these is growing in Ohio. A lot of these guys are down there in Georgia, which is why you look at a guy like Caden McDonald, he is undersized for what Georgia wants in its defensive tackles, but he's been perfect for what Ohio State wants, right? There's other guys in this 2026 recruiting class where they're a little small for what Georgia wants for its defensive tackles, but maybe not at school A, B, and C. Well, Ohio State wants both. They want Caden McDonald type of nose tackles, but they also want Jamir Perez type of nose tackles. And now they've got them. They've already got Caden McDonald in the program, and now they've added Jamir Perez, 6'4", 360, a 3-star recruit from Glenville High School in Cleveland. That pipeline continues on. Ryan Day's version of Ohio State, I think, has been a solid mixture of what Jim Tressel was and what Urban Meyer was. It's the best of Ohio, but also sprinkling in some of these top-tier national guys, especially on the skill position spots. So far, Glenville hasn't failed Ohio State.
No,
Arvell Reese looks like he might be a dude. Bryce West is developing along nicely. Demarion Witten has a high ceiling as a guy who could be a wide receiver or a tight end. Sincere Johnson just looks like Arvell Reese 2.0, down to the number he wears. And now you've got yourself a true nose in Jamir Perez.
Yeah, and I think this is the important part because we talk about this with the 2025 Ohio State roster and go, okay, do you like if they want to play a 3-down front, like what if you have CJ Hicks and Arvell Reese as your two edge rushers, and then you have, Sonny Styles and Peyton Pierce as your middle guys if you want to run like a 3-4 look sometimes. You talk about it and go, okay, well, Edric can probably play like a 5 outside the tackle. He could probably play over the tackle. And then maybe Kenyatta can play over that tackle. Caden McDonald can probably play nose. And then what? And then what defensively? Because James Laurinaitis is bringing in great linebackers. But that is only part of what allows you to be multiple up front. And do you remember, Steven, in the 2024 season, when all we heard about what Nick Saban said, antiquated, I think was the front or the word that he used about Ohio State's defense. Like, if Ohio State fans are looking for ways to diversify your front and diversify your defense, getting a new body type like a Jamir Perez allows you to do that. Getting somebody in the program like a Jamir Perez allows you to do that. Do I think he's going to be ready to play in 2026? No, I do not. Do I think he's going to be ready to play in 2027? Maybe. We'll see. But getting this type of kid in the program, what if by 2027 you can get 10 to 12 snaps a game from him? That's a very, very solid place to start for somebody that you think, okay, we can now do some different things because we've got this mammoth of a defensive lineman in the middle of our front.
Get the text 614-350-3315. It's a 2-week free trial, $3.99 after that. We might even send a video of Andrew dancing like that along with that. And go listen to Buckeye Talk.
I had to hype it up. I had to hype people up about it.
I mean, listen, there's nothing wrong with it. There was nothing wrong with what he did whatsoever, man. Go listen to Buckeye Talk wherever you find podcasts and subscribe to that. Jamir Perez, Ohio State's latest 2026 commit. They flip him from Florida. That's Andrew. I'm Steven. See ya.